What's up everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So a very interesting thing that has come to light is Marvel Spider-Man being on PC and the modders taking advantage of that game and showcasing multiple modifications to the game. In fact, we've gotten to see Kingpin mod, we've gotten to see a Stan Lee mod, and some really outlandish mods all over the place. But it brings us to a question that one of my audience members pretty much raised a comment about. And that audience member of mine actually said, imagine somebody sitting somewhere already making mods for Gotham Knights when the game releases. And I sit there and ask myself, what kinds of mods are we going to be seeing, if at all, PC modders are interested in doing this for Gotham Knights? Now, I myself have not necessarily dabbled into mods. I've not taken the time to look at the legality, even though I know that there is some precedent in a sense in terms of derivative works that can cover you. I just always enjoy watching other people mod games, and hopefully we don't get into trouble for even engaging in the conversation, because these IPs, they are licensed in a sense. But it seems like there are all kinds of different avenues that allow for you to be able to do it and not necessarily represent the work as your own, but represent the modification as your own, but still give credit to the originators of the work. And so it brings us to the conversation of Gotham Knights, which, not unlike other games, say maybe the Spider-Man conversation that we were just having, where you have maybe Miles Morales or Peter Parker, but in the case of Gotham Knights, you have multiple characters that really does swing the door open for modifications like we haven't necessarily seen in many different video games. Now, not like Gotham Knights is unique, but it still does provide some interest to me as to how these modders can actually take the game. Another really cool thing too is, as much as modders enjoy doing this job, I've always wondered how they're able to execute it across games developed on different engines. But it seems like for them, the limit is only the sky at this point, and so they go ahead and they do it. So permit me to dream or imagine a little bit if we could get modifications for some of our favorite characters, and not necessarily them being modded into some other random characters in other video games or IPs, but actually them being modded in ways that represent, say, different skins and suits and representations of them from other universes and other storylines that some of us are actually quite interested in. That's just level one. In fact, the ability of making mods that are actually spanning beyond this with other characters that are in the game are also very interesting. You have characters like Renee Montoya, you have Alfred, you also have Harley Quinn, who's been revealed right now, you have the Penguin, you have Mr. Freeze, and I think these works are going to be very interesting to allow for an extension of the community conversation surrounding Gotham Knights. And you guys know I try my best to save the main man for the last, which is the elephant bat in the room, and that's Batman himself. Can you imagine what a mod for him will look like in Gotham Knights? I think it's going to be really cool, because other really interesting mods have been done for other games using Batman. Sifu was one of them that actually had a Batman mod that was pretty interesting. I like the way they did that mod and represented the character to pretty much play Batman within the context of that video game. So it's going to be interesting to see it nonetheless. It will feel weird to, if I was going to be honest with you guys, because, I'm very used to Batman in an Arkham setting. This Gotham Knights experience for me and even others is going to be very new. So we're, in a sense, paying attention, but I'm very excited as to what it is that the community is going to come up with. You see, only in a video game that has this level of layering, and when I say layering, I'm looking at, say, the different characters, the different aspects of the game, are we going to be able to see modifications that do represent an entirely different segment of the game in a way that we had not necessarily envisioned it. There are characters all over the place that we would possibly like to see in Gotham Knights. Some of these characters include characters like Catwoman. Some people have even requested possible characters like Azrael himself. You see, these are very critical in terms of just fanfare that video games bring to light, especially in today's day and age, and especially in today's artistic expression, where people can actually bring their works out there and show everyone. Some people are still talking about the representation of Harley Quinn, how they think a preference from her representation in the Arkham games is either superior, or some have even said inferior. Some people have said the Arkham Harley is not as good. To me, it doesn't really matter. I think I've seen so many representations of Harley Quinn, I can't necessarily say that one person has done it right over one person, in terms of production. The one thing I would argue, though, is Tara Strong is just a strong voice actress in her own right, pun intended, and fact emphasized. And so that's probably the only thing. But the new Harley that we're seeing in the Gotham Knights game, from what we've seen, is also a solid actress as well. So this doesn't necessarily take too much away from things. But I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section when it comes to mods for Gotham Knights. Do you want to see them? And what mods would you be interested in seeing if the developers were to allow for the game to be in a way, or to have developed the game in a way where it can actually be easily modded, and if not, in a way where modders can actually get that representation of the characters in a way that we would love to see them, or they would love to see them in the game. So talk to them in the comment section. Hopefully we'll talk pretty soon. Peace out.